bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here, I got time.
So the Permission to Start Dreaming Foundation was actually started by an amazing woman, Leslie Main, who unfortunately had lost her son. He was in the process of trying to get help, and unfortunately the system failed him and wasn't there. And she took that profound struggle, that profound sorrow, and turned it into an organization that has helped hundreds of fellow veterans and first responders get their life back and help let others know that they're not alone. And the Permission to Start Dreaming Foundation has partnered with Boulder Crest Foundation, who is part of a larger, broader network. It's through the Gary Sinise Foundation Avalon Network, and Boulder Crest is part of that as part of the post-traumatic stress, and then there's also an arm of the Avalon Network that also focuses on TBI, or traumatic brain injury. And this site here in the Pacific Northwest is one of several nationwide that provide Warrior Path, which is the progressive and alternative training for healing heroes. It's an 18-month program that helps veterans and first responders turn profound struggle into strength and then live their life as one of post-traumatic growth and of service and giving back into the community for others. The Warrior Path program itself, one of the wellness practices that we have that get introduced, and I say we because I've been a beneficiary as alumni of the program, we get introduced to 31 wellness practices, and one of them is the Labyrinth. Now the Labyrinth, if you do some research on it, it's a fascinating study because the Labyrinth is over 4,000 years old. And they show that different cultures in different areas of the world all created their own labyrinth, and there wasn't any connectivity to know what others were doing until much later as we were unearthing or excavating that information. And the idea behind the labyrinth is that symbolically, it's a place of meditation. There's only one way in and one way out. And the idea behind that meditation is to be able to truly be able to be present and focused, follow that path, be prepared to leave whatever it is you might be carrying. If it's stress, if it's anxiety, if it's depression, if it's your past, whatever load, whatever it is you might be carrying, you carry symbolically for us, we carry a rock to the center. And when we get to the center, we lay that rock down as an acknowledgement of and honor all that we've done in our life, all that's been given to us, and in gratitude and healing that we're here. And then it's time to let that go. It's time to place that in the center and be free of that burden. And then walk back out again and then start coming back to the present and coming back to our lives and thinking about what is it we want to bring into our life in terms of positive, in terms of possibilities, in terms of gratitude, the people that help lift us up, who are they in our life, and then what do we need to keep letting go of? What are those energy vampires that just are no longer serving us, that we need to set aside? And so the Labyrinth is just a very profound space. For me, it was one of the most profound pieces of that week long that I was here participating in Warrior Path. And so I'm excited for someone who supports our organization and who is also working towards her own first 10-miler, that she gets a chance, Danielle, to do this Labyrinth and set down her own worries, her own burdens, and then come back out lighter and just ready to greet life and keep moving forward. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah. So you ready? Are you ready to experience the profound awesomeness of the Labyrinth?
I think so. I don't want wouldn't say I'm nervous, but I'm kind of curious on how this experience will be because I've never done anything like this before.
Wonderful.
So
I would say just take a centering breath, and then let it out. And then the rock that you have represents the burden, whatever that burden may be that you've carried throughout your life. It can be something from your past, it can be something more recent. It's really up to you, and you know what that may be. And you don't have to share it, you don't have to tell others about it, but you know what it is. And so just take a moment, as you get ready to walk into that labyrinth, of thinking of the rock as that burden of whatever it is you've been carrying. And as you walk through the maze, there's only one way in and one way out, so just follow the path. Just take some time to kind of think about, what is that burden, what's that impact been on your life as you're walking towards the center. And then whatever else comes up, when you get to the center, you can take a moment. Some take a knee, some stand, some toss the rock down, whatever it is you may need, and then put that rock in the center, whatever it is you'd like to say or do in the center, and then turn and exit out. Once again, there's only one way in and one way out. And as you come back, reflect on what you're letting go of, what no longer serves you, and you have chosen to leave behind in the center of this labyrinth. And then when you're come back out, we'll check in with you and see how you're doing and see what your experience is. Any questions?
we just leave the rock there and then come back?
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
Awesome.
All right. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How was that experience for you?
I mean, it's something that I've never experienced before. Just this solitude and being able to walk throughout the labyrinth to the center of it, and just like collect your thoughts, kind of think about like what you're burdened in and stuff, and I think it's a great time to reflect on not only what your burden is, but like why you may have originally think that it was. And I think this is like also the perfect place to do it, because you feel like, I think for not just for me, but anyone that goes through the program, that this might be one of their first times they actually have the time to stop everything and kind of think about why they're here, and also too, like what may be holding them back. So just thinking about what my burden was walking through the labyrinth was something I haven't really actually thought about, but it's always like in the back of my mind, just going through this labyrinth, bring parts to the front for me to actually address it. And then once I got to the center, I kind of collected my thoughts and just kind of spend some time in the center to really think about how it's not actually a burden, and how, like what it's like a trick, like it's not a burden. What you may be thinking could be like, it could be actually a positive, that just the way your mind is thinking could make it negative, and that was a big thing for me. So having time to sit there and, I kneel there and think about what the burden actually was, and take some time, and also too, walking back, just reflecting on what you said is big. And then also too, like just being here and being alone, being in solitude, and being in a moment of peace per se, because you're never going to get an experience like this, I don't think. And I never had an experience like this, where this is it's built for you to recognize your burdens, actually address them, and you have all the time in the world to go through the labyrinth and actually, before you get to the final point, which is the center, and come full forth with them, and then walk your way back out. So,
Do you feel lighter?
yeah, I do. I spend a lot of time in the center, because not only, I don't know if it's happened to anyone else, but not only the burden that you think, but it could have brought up other things as well that are tied to it. So just addressing it, but it's funny. It was not funny, but the burden that I've been carrying has become lighter and lighter, but I think this is the final thing that it needed to be done in order for it to let go, because it's not, It was more of a forefront when I was active, but of course now for civilians in the back of my mind, but just changing my mindset over the past 2 years and everything. So and it's beginning less and less, but I think this is definitely the final step for that burden to officially not be a burden anymore. So I'm really happy that I did this and I was able to come out and actually do something like this, because I don't think I would have ever had the opportunity to actually do it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on letting go, leaving that burden in the center, and then stepping into the life that you want and how you want to be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.